Hello, and welcome to Actual Play Autumn of the Ancients. It has been a while, and I'm very excited to see everybody here, and hope we have a fantastic conclusion to our game. Jen, I know you're a breakout con, but that's about it. What have you been up to?
Yeah, I went to Breakout Con last weekend in Toronto, which was the first time I've ever been to Toronto, which was a lot of fun. And also, I started a new job, which is way less stressful than my last job, and only
Yay!
6 miles away. So
It's how
it's,
many miles
it's,
away? It's not many miles away.
it's only 6.
Oh, awesome.
My last job was 25. So
Bleh.
Yeah.
yes, that was the face I made every day going to work at that job.
Right, you just drove to work this.
Yeah. So that's me. What are you up to, Jay? What have you been up to for 2 months?
Oh, I just got back from Colorado. I was at a con out in Colorado, which was a lot of fun. I got to play a lot of new stuff I hadn't messed with before and ran Suburban Shadows. And now I'm getting ready for my local Kansas City con. I organize that once a quarter, and so it's that time, and I'll be doing that next weekend.
Nice.
Other than that, that's about it. What about you, Banana? What have you been up to?
Not much, just really busy trying to get all of our games ready. So right now we're working on Block War, Judge Strip Block War, and we're trying to get that up and running so we can get that printed and shipped and all that fun stuff. So very exciting.
Yay, publishing. It's a
Yeah.
never-ending task list of stuff to
Yeah.
do.
What about you, Sean?
Well, I also got back from Colorado, and Jay played opposite me in a game of Inheritance, which was fantastic. It was good times. And I've been playing in Eric Vulgaris's Torchbearer game on his channel, which has been a ton of fun. So that's been tiding me over while I wait to voyage to the stars. Other than that, just normal Evil Hat stuff. We're going to make an announcement soon, but there's a Kickstarter brewing, of course, but it's can't say anything about it yet. So it should be on the horizon shortly. But speaking of faring in the stars, what is this game we're playing? I think anyone but Jen should have to answer that question because she said answer it like a million times. Where I'll start off at least a little bit is that Autumn of the Ancients is a spacefaring adventure that is where we've gone to all these different locations, and you can check the previous games in the VODs and find out about our characters and our relationships there. In the last game, we landed on the Void Jumper, and Jay described it. So maybe Jay, you want to give us a recap of where we last left off?
The space, the stars are sparse. It's more dark. The stars that we can see are very dim. I think we decided that the Void Jumper was a large ship, still some distance from where we entered that space at. And shortly after we enter that space, we can see the surrounding area. We can see the Void Jumper. We also see Federation ship, the diplomat ship, also enter the space. I think if you remember, the diplomat ship we had some friction with when we left Federation space. So just a little bit. They're a little upset. We're going to find out what about.
Cool. And Banana, I don't know, since you weren't at last session, you want to tell us about Nevo and your spacefaring so far?
So last time I was really jet lagged, so I apologize that I had to leave a little early. But I'm thinking Nebo got a little distracted and wanted to take a little breather, and he's gonna come back in this episode. Nice. Probably just like coming out of a nap or something.
Nice. I like it. I love that this game like asserts that like you are going to go on these journeys, are going to know these places. So none of us as players or as characters have to like do a lot of like heavy lifting to make sure that happens. There's no like, well, one of us has to be the ship captain and one of us has to be an ace pilot. We're just kind of these hapless people chosen by the
The
liminal.
liminal definitely gets to the end, so that means we all get to the end too if we wanna.
Right. So it's fun because we can have somebody who
Nobody needs to fly the ship. It's fine.
nobody needs to fly the ship. The ship flies itself.
Everything's fine.
Awesome. Well, I'm gonna cut over to the map then.
I was just gonna say, have we had any scenes where the liminal actually talked to either any of us? I feel like I've had some scenes where like the liminal talked sort of telepathically at me in like sort of impressions or images, but I don't think that we like directly interacted with the liminal at all.
No, I feel like we've always basically said, well, Callisto knows what the liminal wants. And actually, that's not true because the Ori has also like interfaced with the liminal's
Right.
technological components. But I don't think we were given a voice to the liminal. Not to my knowledge. Not that we certainly couldn't, but yeah, I think it's been quiet thus far. Awesome. So the place that we were in, the Void Jumper, I think it's probably nearly impossible to see on the stream. I'm going to zoom in a little more if I can. Try and make that possibly visible. How's that? Zoom in more. Enhance. So the awesome thing about this is that this map is like 5 billion pixel resolution. So like it was really, really hard to fit on Roll20, but now that it's there, I literally can just keep zooming in for like eons. We won't be able to fit anything on the page, but there we go. Okay. I think that's so the locations are the astrometrics, what lies ahead, the helm, what we found on our way, the cabin, the sound of the ship, and the galley, a mentor. And the description is the hospitality of the researcher, Sissia?
Yes.
Sissia. Nice. Okay. There are some names in this game.
I know.
Yeah, there are some names that I'm just like.
I know, and I can finally pronounce all of them.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Does anyone want to frame the first scene in the Void Jumper? I think it's worth noting the kind of friction, the diplomat ship behind us that's perhaps in pursuit, but also not so worthy that it has to take over. It has to be feature heavily. I will.
The cold open is always kind of tricky.
Yeah. I feel like I've been talking a lot, but I will try and kick it off. So I'm gonna have Kamala have a scene in the helm, and I think this is the my impression is that the reason that the Void Jumper is out here is that this far in space, normal sort of space navigation is the mapping or the routes or whatnot are not sufficient. They're not well enough established, and the Void Jumper is sort of like a placeholder, kind of keeping the rest of the world connected to our next locations, and that's why it's sort of the fundamental place we have to visit. And so I'm going to open a scene with Kamala in the helm, and there's and I think I'm going to pull the Ori into it as well as we are as we enter like the helm of this giant ship. And Jen, I'm just basically stealing from the description you gave of Breakout Con because I thought it was really neat.
Do it.
We
Yeah, do it.
go from like the scene cuts from us on the liminal completely alone. It's just the four of us to Kamala and Ori on the helm of the Void Jumper, where there are like tons and tons of people because everyone congregates here. Like the ship is so massive, it must be like some precursor ship from the people from before, and it's so much larger than any others. And so Kamala and Ori are in the helm, and what you see is just like these shafts, like this otherwise what would be like a very gloomy, dark, big open, a very gloomy, dark, compacted area with shafts of like amplified starlight lighting up areas, and they form sort of lanes where people are going to get their directions and whatnot. And it gets this like train station sort of feeling, like everybody's going sort of different ways, and the starlight lanes are directing people around. But there's like no signage anywhere, so there's like no clue as to like where's to go, and everybody else seems to know where they're going, and Kamala Uber doesn't. So at some point after like a ton of turning around, she like turns super frustrated, and there's like the clatter of her hooves, of her 8 hooves, or 8 spider hooves on the hard floor. She turns to the Ori, and it's just like, I don't know how we're supposed to find our way here, and why all these people seem to know, but I'm totally lost and overwhelmed. And I thought like this is going to be our special, like the liminal is going to show us the way, but I'm totally lost. And she looks kind of haplessly at the Ori.
We are not lost, my friend. I know where we are going. The liminal has provided adequate instructions. I think perhaps you are overwhelmed for your friend.
How spider goats can't blush. They don't have the they don't have the blood vessels in their face. So she just kind of like her she bleats and kind of looks down, and then looks up and says, "Am I that obvious?" Or no, not am I. Is it? What did I say? Is it that obvious? I don't want Callisto to think I'm worried about her. And she sort of like looks over her shoulder to make sure Callisto isn't nearby.
Obvious. It is rational. It is rational. Clearly, we are not lost. I know where we're going. You are having a reaction that is greater than the fact that I know where we are going. So you cannot be upset about being lost, because we are not lost. So it must be something else.
When you serve your function, what happens to you next? Do you know? When the liminal arrives at our final destination, do you think you're going to survive it? Are you programmed to care about your future after we finish this mission?
You think we won't have a future after this?
I think you're a member of your clutch, and Callisto has a disease that's killed almost everybody on my planet, and I'm a test subject. I think Nevo is the only one who is of any importance. and even he might be sacrificed on this mission. I mean, as a minister of importance, they might still. I don't know that we're supposed to survive the rest of this, and I don't want to die, and I don't want my friend, and I definitely don't want to just get used up, and I don't want you to get used up either.
That is hard, yes. When my function is done, my function is done. What happens next? I don't know. But I won't be here, so I won't care. Right?
But don't you care? She like clacks a couple of her feet like angrily. Like she's like, yeah, of course, logically that all sounds great. She's like, but don't you care right now? I mean, don't you want to keep exploring the universe and keep learning things and reconnect with the rest of your clutch?
That's not my function.
Yeah, but you're more than just the beeps and the boops that define you. You have to be more. You've shown us that you're more than just a robot. You're a person, and therefore you deserve to have some autonomy over your life. You deserve to have a life, just like starting like just with being like in existence.
We've had our life. If it is to be over, then it is done and it is finished.
You're totally not making me feel any better about this, Leone.
But I don't understand how much life.
I don't want Callisto to die. And I kind of think like the Liminal doesn't care. The Liminal is great and wonderful and is just happy to like use us up as we go from place to place. I mean, even the minister, the director of all things important, Nebo, has gotten in trouble going on this mission.
But how was the experience?
Terrifying.
And
still working through the fear part. Maybe there's something on the other end. I mean, Callisto's like a whole life has been like being like in I just watched all the Alien movies, and so I think of like the way the scientists treat like what they discover. Like her entire life has been like in a vat, like in a lab. Like she doesn't so do you think there's any reason to believe that we'll be do you think there's any reason to believe that we'll be that we matter after this mission is done?
We matter now. We've mattered before now. If you think we won't exist after the mission, then you should live all you have now.
Or she raises like one hoof. And I think cutscene right there.
Nice.
That was amazing.
Nice. I like it.
Callisto might have clever ideas. Sean doesn't, but you know, it's or I have some, but they don't need to be played out. So awesome. Cool. So that was at the helm. Who would like to?
I have an idea for like a super short scene for Callisto.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Sean, I don't know if I'm allowed to move markers.
You should be. Yeah.
Okay.
If not,
let us find out.
yeah. If not, no worries. I'm happy to.
No, I could totally do it. I'm so impressed.
Yes, you have the marker power.
I do. I just have to get everything inside of the small frame of my laptop. Cool. So we see Callisto in a cabin, and I think like it's a huge, ginormous ship, but I do think that some of our companions, like I think maybe Kamala and Nebo and the Ori need to like share a cabin, if that's cool with you guys.
No, that's cool. I'm good with that.
Yeah, totally.
But I think that Callisto gets her own cabin, what with, being sick with the space plague. and like it's not a particularly big room, and yeah, I think for my scene we just see her in this very small cabin, laying down, um and like her breathing is getting like a little bit more labored, like she's not like dying, but like it's I don't think we've ever seen her like laying down before. Excuse me. And so yeah, she's definitely um low energy. She's definitely like not doing as well, and she's just laying down, and she's probably got like a tablet or something, and she's just looking at it, and she's like looking at pictures of her family and pictures of you know, you guys companions and stuff, and especially bits along our trip since we've started traveling. That's it. And
Nice.
the background is just the sound of this massive ship, um the engines like in the background.
I love it. Is the aesthetic of this show that of this game that like when she like thinks back, we see like a black and white smash cut back to like a previous scene, a previous like scene filmed.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So like we see her talking to her sister again, like
Mhm.
frustrated, and we see oh nice. I love it. There's like some like
Or we go back to like that first meal that we all tried to eat together.
yeah, it was so difficult.
Yes.
And
So
there's like
awkward.
Celine Dion playing in the background and like real quietly, and it's all black and white and everything's in slow motion. Got it.
Yep.
I love it. I'm really a fan. Beautiful. Sad. Um,
I still don't know if she's gonna make it. I have no idea. I've made her
I
sick
don't
with the space plague, and now I'm like,
right. Well, and yeah.
we're playing to find out. We're
Exactly.
playing to find out in like chicken style. Like
That's right.
Cool. Jay or Banana?
I think I have an idea for the galley, unless
Cool.
Jay,
Okay.
you want to go. All right.
I can. I was going to go with Astrometrics.
Oh, cool. Okay, that works out.
I think, and this may be a short scene. I think we see the Ori with other Oris at the Astrometrics. Maybe it's a bay on the Void Jumper, so it's not our own ship. And maybe he's getting the coordinates, the paths, whatever's necessary to continue the journey. He's getting that information so he can take it back to our ship, so we can figure out where we're headed to next. Once he's there, he can see a black hole phenomenon in the astrometrics data. He can see some decay of space and time in the astrometric data. These are all things we're going to have to move forward toward or to. Most immediate is the diplomatic ship from the Federation. And he can see that they've been maneuvering to kind of block our way going forward. And they've got weapons armed and ready we'll have to deal with moving forward. It doesn't seem like they're looking to have a conversation.
I was gonna say that doesn't sound very diplomatic.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Doesn't sound right at all. And this is information Ori will have to take back to and share with everyone once he gets back to the liminal,
right,
from the Void Jumper.
Awesome. Nice, cool. You wanna close out with a scene in the galley?
Yeah. I'm thinking Nebo just wakes up and finds everyone at the galley, and I guess he's been like asleep for a while. He's like hibernating, or something.
Like as Nevo's race does, right?
Right,
Absolutely.
yeah, exactly. And he sees Callisto in this like jumpsuit thing, and he's just like, Callisto, what's up with the jumpsuit? What's going on?
Oh, I got sick. I haven't seen you in a while.
No. Has much changed?
I mean, I have to wear this fancy outfit so I don't give people the space plague.
I think
Space
just
plague.
before you said like Sonic, if you feel the space plate, Kamala like perked up when you said this, and like her legs all extended so that their like joints are all locked. She got like as tall as she could, which is still like not like people
Yeah.
height, but like it's like this like tense thing, and it was like, it's a thing of like in some families you just don't talk about when somebody's sick or something like that. Like
Yeah,
that's her
yeah.
reaction. Like, what are you doing? What's happening right here? Like, and she was like gonna try and figure out how to like change the subject, but she just like froze. And so then when you said like space plague, she was just like, like, okay,
You said the word. You said the word.
you said the words like Voldemort, right?
And I think as this like whole conversation's happening, this like meteor is going through the sky and like leaving a trail of like space junk between like where we're at and where the diplomat ship is. So it gives us an opportunity to sort of like bail.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Is that like the thing that makes us be like, okay, now we should get out of here?
Yeah.
Nice. I love it. Okay, well, if our master navigator says so, sure, Nevo.
What an opportune moment.
Nice. Cool. I think we can move liminal then, and we can describe how, as part of going to the next location, we can describe how that goes with the diplomat ship.
So we have a choice here. We can go to the Genesis station. The the location prompt is a decaying orbit, or we could go to the home of the ancients, a planet consumed by ancient technology. I have a slight preference for the home of the ancients because that's the one I have not played yet. But if people have strong feelings, I'm open either way.
I do not. I am excited about going to the home of the ancients.
So am I.
Same here.
Cool. Awesome. Does anyone want to take the liminal there?
I can.
Okay, sounds good. I definitely would like to hear how the leaving the Void Jumper and the diplomat ship and the meteor storm goes as part of that. I would like to know.
Yeah.
When we get there.
Excuse me. Okay, so we computer. So we kind of all trundle back into our ship, which is also the liminal, as this meteor is leaving a trail of space junk, and then it turns out that it's a meteor, and as we sort of like streak past it ourselves, like those of us who are looking outside the windows notice that like maybe it's a meteor, but it has like a whole civilization on it, and like
Nice.
buildings are ripping apart, and there's like the equivalent of space cars are being all held like yeah. So I don't know if it was part of a planet that got ripped off. I don't know. But there's lots of like artificial, organic being made junk that's
Wow, Elon Musk's car like flies off the
exactly, yes. Exactly that.
Is there any chance in flying past this that the liminal is damaged?
Ooh, yeah, totally. Something could totally like scratch against the liminal, which is a crystal ship, and like scratch one of the crystals or something. Totally. But like I was yes, as far as like coming up to the home of the ancients, It's a planet that's consumed by ancient technologies. So there's just a bunch of like, it's a planet that's covered in crystals that are just like jutting out, and they're all different colors and different kind of crystalline shapes and junk. But like, it doesn't even look like a planet anymore.
Is it still like spherical, or is it even?
I mean, like roughly, but I feel like there's probably like as much material, like as much mass as the planet takes up. There's probably that much in shapes and junk on top of it.
Wow. Okay. I love it. That's awesome.
I also think it's like crazy bright because it's all crystals, right?
Yeah.
So like, even though there's not a ton of stars around, it's all the light is just bouncing around the inside of all the crystals.
Sure. Is there like some sort of like light source that has either been collected or trapped or otherwise, like does it seem like there's like a glow from the center? It seems like there might.
Totally. I love it.
Yeah. Dig it.
I literally went to a nature museum last weekend where we looked at crystals for like a half an hour. So,
So describe all the
and
crystals.
we decided that there was clearly some of the globule crystals were clearly like good and like very nice and benevolent crystals, and the weird jaggedy kind and like that were all like crackly and striated and stuff. Like those were the evil crystals.
Definitely.
You had to watch out for those crystals. So yeah. So that's the home of the ancients. This is the planet that the liminal is from, you guys.
Yeah.
I've never seen this one before.
So normally, like the liminal kind of like floats in orbit right around the planets, and when we go on the planet side, we like bring a little bit of the crystal with us. But is it possible the liminal like box like adds to the giant? It seems like it would
100%.
Like,
yes.
Click. And like, join the rest of the
just like a Lego.
Click.
Right, exactly. Okay, kind of, yes. A little bit I'm thinking of like the Superman's like crystalline home, sort of like the all the spikes sort of firing out, and like the liminal just has like a little place that nestles right in to
it connects up.
Yeah, to the
also,
Fortress
I feel
of Salt.
like we sort of very briefly flash back to the moment eons ago when the liminal first left this place, right? And like cracked off and left.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I don't think we've never called on screen, but now I'm going to say that all along there's been this part of the liminal that looked like the crystal was snapped. Like there's this like rough edge, and like it like perfectly like clicks into that like all the uneven bits like exactly match with like the uneven bit of where it was supposed to.
Nice.
Fantastic. Okay, cool. So our locations are Body of the Ancient, a battle fought long ago, the Fallen City, what was destroyed, the Founders Library, what was saved, and the Academy of the Ancients, why the liminal needs you. Yeah. Anyone want to?
So on the last one, the Academy of the Ancients, that'll be one that we have to roll 1d6 on. If you have a trait that you've picked up from a prompt and you kind of use it in the fiction, you can add +1, which is as crunchy as the mechanics of this game get.
You min-maxer,
can sometimes add 1 to a d6.
You can roll a d6, which has all cool outcomes. And
yeah, right.
Our options are a dark future, a
relic.
A relic. Oh, the space between the C and the O is.
I know.
A relic of the golden age and what still lives. Yeah, all the like I only want the max option there, Jen. Cool.
I mean, I like the still part of that. What still lives.
Yeah.
Actually yep. So yeah, I mean, if you guys don't mind, like I will just start because that is super appropriate.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, so we uh what is the word? Debark? Is it embark and debark?
Um,
D something. I don't remember.
yeah,
Doesn't matter. We leave the ship. And
disembark.
Disembark. Thank you.
Yeah.
I
Disembark.
was like, I know. I was like, I know it's close.
Yeah. And yeah, so and I think there's no like open air on the planet's surface, right? Like you can kind of go into, there's probably like tunnels and then even like open areas, but there's always like crystal in between you and space. Like
Right.
I don't think this planet has an atmosphere.
Okay.
Yeah,
So like
you're sort
you
of
can,
always inside, right?
yeah. So you can like see into space. It's like some of the crystals are sort of clear, but it's never like a sun shining on you.
Right.
Um,
And there's just
so
glowing ambient glow from everywhere.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we disembark and we go to, oh, I should say Callisto disembarks and goes to the Academy of the Ancients.
Cool. Is
With
anyone going?
I think for sure she probably takes the liminal in his little portable crystal form with her.
Yeah.
Because she's gonna go visit. I'm open to other people coming with, and I'm also open to other people eavesdropping, but not being actively in scene because I know it's what you want to do, Sean.
I was just, how did you know? So yes, yes to that. I definitely want to have Kamala follow you. Also, I'd like to suggest that the liminal behaves in certain ways that we haven't seen before. For instance, like we have like a docking door that like we've used in the past, but perhaps on its planet, it just sort of like opens like a there's like an iris in it that just like opens as it becomes part of the planet. And so like now it's no
Yeah.
longer a ship, it's just like one
Yeah.
of the like the
It's just a
jutting
room.
pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a room. And so we just like leave as though we were in a cabin of the, or in a, I don't know.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like how we've gone this whole voyage and we're like, hey, we didn't know that worked.
We didn't know that was a thing. Like the giant, lens, iris, like camera lens thing. We're just looked like a fancy piece of art on the wall that took up most of the wall.
It actually does a thing.
Yeah.
It's a secret door, you guys.
It's totally a secret door.
Yeah, so I think Callisto is she takes the liminal to the Academy of the Ancients. And what does that look like? I think it looks like Space College, right? It looks like crazy ancient tech Space College.
Nice.
It's a sci-fi version of Hogwarts. Yeah. Well, because I get in my head, like I had library stuck in my head. So I'm like, oh, but no, we have a location that is the library.
Yeah.
So this is like a big gigantic college campus, and there's like research areas and like classroom areas, and
are the people of that like live here?
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming it's populated. Yeah, there's other.
I think it's sparsely populated. It's like there's less people on this planet than there was on the Void Jumper.
Wow. Okay. And are they a single species, or are there like a ton of different?
I think there's probably a lot of like liminal. No, because the liminal is the last of their kind. So no, there's no other liminals here. There's other beings. There's other aliens walking around, but no other liminals.
Cool. Which
is good because like random crystals like rolling down the hallway would be like weird. And I think actually that by now Callisto's actually in almost like a wheelchair kind of.
Okay.
And I think actually she tried to make it so that none of you guys, the three of you, would see her in it. Like she walked a ways off the ship and then got it. because she doesn't want you guys to see her and worry about her. Yeah, I mean, not the Ori, because the Ori's not going to worry, but yeah. So she goes to the Academy of the Ancients and ends up in, I think, like a professor's, like office, right? And no, actually, like a conference room. So like she places the liminal in the middle of a sort of conference table, and I actually think there's nobody in the room. It's just the two of them. And she's kind of like, oh, she takes off a glove and like actually touches the liminal and sort of.
I think the other is it just her in the liminal, or did you say there was another person?
I think it's just her in the liminal.
Cool, awesome.
Yeah, because I changed my mind. And yeah, so she takes her glove off and touches the liminal and sort of thinks about the rest of the journey that they have still left to go, and what, like, sort of like trying to express how much energy am I going to have to, like, is this going to cost me, right? Like, we have X number of, miles or whatever to go, and I want to make sure that I complete the task that I set out to do, which is I'm the gatekeeper, right? And I don't want to fail the liminal. So yeah, I'm sort of asking for the liminal's advice. And now I get to roll a die, which I'm very excited about.
Yeah. I feel like the liminal, if you're okay with one of us describing it,
Yep.
I feel like the liminal draws, like when you set it down, it's just like everything's crystals, like every which way.
Everything is crystals.
You're right. And I think the liminal like draws a bunch of the light that was in the crystals into it. And so like it's glowing very brightly, and we see like it casting this light on Callisto's face, and in fact it's even like visible through her because of her sort of translucent body.
Yeah.
Sort of like lights it sort of like lights her up. And while I don't want to say the liminal has words, I imagine that like in like the dust motes in the air, it sort of draws like a bit of like the rest of this, like the dust motes sort of light up in a pattern that look like the star map that we have to go. And there's some connotation regarding like how far and how much that's going to take. And I think we'll see, but like I like the idea of sort of conveying visually to her.
I love it. That's cool.
Also,
I think that I have a trait which is afflicted, so I'm going to call that a +1 because I made the game. So
cheater.
My game. All right. No, I can't roll 2d6. That's Apocalypse World. Let me do this again.
That was a good roll.
It was. +1.
It's a hit.
All right. So, a relic of the Golden Age.
Sorry, chat. I'm not showing the die results.
Oh yeah, I rolled a 4, and then I said +1 because I'm totally a cheater. But the result is 3 to 5 is a relic of the Golden Age. What do you guys think that is? I love how I started this game being like, I don't know if my character is gonna live, and I get to the prompt that's supposed to tell me definitively whether or not I live, and then it doesn't tell me.
You got the middle result.
I did. I really did. Yeah. Listen, the first one that I rolled 2d6, they were both 6s.
Right? I thought you aced it. I also thought you're like, using your I wrote this game cheater powers like me.
Not that much.
Game designer gets rolled twice. Take the best result. Yeah, so it's a relic of the Golden Age, right? And the Golden Age is presumably from the liminal's perspective before it was the last one, right? Like when it was of a society. So I feel like it's, you're dying, but it's all like it's also dying. And so I think it might give you something that symbolizes the memory of like when it had friends too.
That's so sad. You know what I think it actually is I think I'm trying to think of what this would look like on a screen, because I think the effect is like she gets like a crystal that has like a hole in it that she can wear as like a pendant on a necklace, right?
Yeah,
And I don't know if it's just the liminal, like just a bit of it cracks off.
sure.
And I think, yeah, so Callisto picks it up, and when she touches it, it's got like all these like memories and stuff like that she kind of picks up on, and none of them is like super detailed. It's very like, blurry, nostalgic kind of memories.
Sure.
But yeah, memories of being among like your own people and people that you care about and stuff like that. Yeah.
I love it. And if it's something that she can like wear inside her
Mhm.
her suit, then it's a way for her to have like connection to these memories. Since we know that there was a battle fought long ago, just saying, I like the idea that it was like before things were all shitty
Yeah.
on this planet, right? Like before things have been sort of taken over, or some horrible thing had happened.
I actually think like I don't necessarily want to establish a bunch of stuff outside of a scene, but I actually kind of like the idea of like this planet used to be orbiting a star, and that star either like went out or was destroyed or stolen or something. And so yeah, like the planet used to be full of light, and now it's not.
Yeah, I dig it. As bright as it is, it's way darker than it used to be. And yeah, and Kamala can't sense any of this because it's all happening like telepathically.
I mean, I think like when Callisto is like holding the pendant, like she has like a nice sort of happy, serene look on her face.
Nice.
So like you can kind of telegraph it a little bit.
I dig it. And yeah, awesome. Perfect. Very nice. All right. Who wants to go to the body of the ancient? Or any other location. I'm not saying like I have.
Which one do you want to go to, Sean?
I was thinking body of the ancient, but if Sean wants to do
no, I think you should do it. I'm just curious. I'm still conjuring in my head like what this model felt long ago is. So I would love it if you went there.
All right. I think this is Nebo, Kamala, and the Yuri.
Cool.
I think Ori kind of puts together a little, let's go, I want to show you something. And to entice the both of you along, he says that Kamala brought up a mortality question earlier. And I think I have something to share. So we leave the liminal, or where the liminal connected, and he walks or leads as if he's been here before. He knows exactly where he's going.
Sure.
The crystals and the lights, they go from being beautiful, pristine, shiny, to maybe a little broken, a little brittle, a little darker, a little worn down. I don't know how crystals decay or how they go bad.
I can imagine them certainly like devoid of the light that's
they fracture inside. They get
right.
All cracked.
Yes. So cloudy. Yeah, we start to run across more cloudy crystals, more fractured crystals, and then you start to see robotic forms. Some of them are trapped inside crystals. Some of them have pieces kind of lying about, tossed about. And this is further away from where the light is most and bright at. So this is kind of maybe an abandoned area of the body of the ancients. He talks a little bit about the battle of long ago, from long ago. Not so much about what happened, but who these robotic forms are. He talks about how they come across the stars and how they push the planet out of the orbit. He finds kind of the torso of one embedded in the crystal, and kind of breaks through that crystal to get to that chest cavity, and pulls out a crystal out of the chest cavity, kind of shaped like a small little orb. But again, it's fractured, it's cloudy, it's burnt out. And he hands it to Kamala. He says, we used to not die. And then his chest cavity kind of opens up and he reaches inside and he pulls out a similar one, but his has light in it. He says, but since the battle, we don't, when our function is done, it is done. So this can never happen again.
Kamala has like the little piece in her little pincer hoof thing, and is like, are you and this is totally new to her. Where are you saying that your people were the ones that fought with the liminal? Like she's confused and concerned and
right. I'm saying when your function is done, sometimes it is good for your function to be done. Living too long, experiencing too long can be bad. So do your function well, and then when it is done, let it be done.
She looks kind of nervous and like she's being tested right now. And she looks to Nevo like to see if he has an answer. And then she takes the burnt out crystal that Ori handed her, and like as hard as she can, like hurls it onto the ground to try and break it, or just in defiance. And she's like, all of my life I've been told just to serve my function. My entire existence is to serve somebody else's function. I won't be defined by what somebody else tells me is my function. You can surrender to it if you want to, and maybe you have good reason. But I didn't live forever. I was made in a factory to serve somebody else's function. And this isn't my life. And she like stomps on like the crystal, like extra emphatically. That the message she feels like, as you were saying, like, yeah, just do what everyone tells you to do and serve your function well and be a good member of society. And her feeling is that she's just been used in her entire, like she's been literally created. And so anyway, too much in the character's head, but yeah, I think she can't really take it. So she doesn't like run away, but right. She looks away and kind of stares blankly at one of the dark crystals. Like she doesn't really know what else to say at this point. She's figuring the minister of like functions would have.
Just like puts a hand on Kamala's shoulder, or like it's just like gonna be okay.
Yeah, nice.
And that could be seen, yes.
Yeah, seen. Cool. Dana, do you have a scene in mind?
I have an idea for Founders Library.
Cool.
So I'm thinking as we're moving through this desolate sort of crystal town, we find this massive library that's made out of like all these jetting green crystals, and walking through it, and we find like these panels of they're not really books, but they're just like tablets that when you touch, you sort of like light comes out of it, and you can like see something projected onto in the air.
Nice, like holograms projected above it.
Sort
Cool.
of. And so we're walking through, and there's this pedestal, and there's this this rock, and it's like this round rock, and it doesn't look like all the other crystals. It's just like this. It looks like like a dull granite rock, and it's perfectly round. And all of us are there, and we go over to investigate. And I'm thinking one of us accidentally knocks it over, and it cracks open. Inside there's like a lot of like a bit of gel that like seeps out. It's like this weird sticky like glittery gel, and then in the middle there's this crystal that looks sort of like what the liminal looks like, but instead of like the liminal still has like a little bit of light left, but this one is like dead. It's like a dull crystal.
Like it was one of the liminals before that died.
Yeah, that they were trying to save or something. That's like one of the liminals that they were trying to preserve for later, but
right.
ended up
just being a burnt out husk.
Yeah.
This story is like progressively moving on the sad meter to like everything is awful. I love it. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying we got the sadness. Yeah, I think, yeah, cool. Did you want any interaction between us, or do you want to like just have the scene be us that discovery?
We could have like a quick sort of interaction, I guess.
Who bumped it?
Yeah, that's the important part.
Well, I don't know. Maybe Nebo sort of accidentally was like, stretching a little too far and knocks it over.
Nebo like leaned on it, and then
it was just like, this is stable.
Yeah, I think Kamala, who's still sort of like emotional from last, or just sort of like upset from last encounter, is like sort of shaken out of whatever, shaken out of the fugue that she was in, and like looks at it and with a couple of her hands like picks up the thing, and is like we didn't just destroy this wasn't us. Diori, do you know? I guess she's talking to Diori again.
Right.
Diori, do you know how the liminal? Do you know how all the people that were the liminal came to this way? Was this because of the great battle with you, with
my predecessors?
Your predecessors?
My predecessors. We're not built like them anymore for that reason. No, we did not break. That liminal would have never matured. The planet doesn't have the resources to make liminals anymore. So we did not break that.
So this is I love it. Like Kamala thought it was like an old dead one, but you're like, no, that one's like not one that even matured. It's It's just a crystal information.
Right.
I know you're just the director of finance and jurisprudence and magistrate of other things, and I realize it's asking a lot, Nevo, to put all this on your shoulder. But do you think it's do you think you could reach out to the other important members of this, the other inhabitants here, and see if I'm trying to figure out, let's see, I do you think that there are any other scientists here that study? Oh, never mind. It's pointless. And Kamala sort of like, she's like sort of groping at like, is there a way we can help Callisto? But she can't quite figure out how to like ask for it. So she kind of.
Kamala, it's okay. We can figure something out. We can talk to a scientist. We can go out and find some, inhabitants of this planet.
Yeah, let's go talk to someone, and I think if it's okay with you, I'm going to open a scene in the Fallen City and trying to find somebody.
Nice.
But I'm going to do that when we come back from a break, since we've been going on for a little while. So thanks everybody for hanging out with us, and we'll be back in a few minutes. And I'm going to turn on some light so it's not like the crystals are dying behind me. And we'll be back.